see me rolling. They hating, patrolling and trying to catch me riding dirty. 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 Trying to catch me riding dirty.
Welcome to In Pursuit of Truth. This is your host, Sir Patrick Mack. I am back and I'm ready to get some wins under my belt. Hey, John, you like winning?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, me too. Well, let's get some wins today. I am starting you off over here on my Twitter page at IPOT1776. That's at IPOT1776. I spend a lot of my time here when I'm not making videos. So for those of you who worry about me and when I take a couple days off, just check me over here first and you will know my status because I'm very active over here as well too. All right. Well, look, Q has not posted for a few days. And of course, everyone's going nuck and futs, haters and trolls and all that. And all I've got to say to them is, you mad, bro? Look at that kid. He's pretty dope driving in his convertible. I don't think he's really driving, though. Don't you think his hair would be blowing? I'm calling you out, dude. I don't think that's a real car, and I don't really think you're driving. But I ain't mad. All right, let's get started over here. I'm starting you off a right wire. And actually, this was sent to me by Mom. So thanks, Ma. Appreciate it. I'm actually going to read off of this link here to the Washington Examiner, but just goes to show you how MAGA my mom is. We had the same thought process this morning. So here we go. We're on the Washington Examiner. Lanny Davis. I have no idea if that story I confirmed about the Trump Tower meeting is true or not. Uh-oh. On July 27th, CNN published what looked like a major scoop. President Trump's former personal attorney, Michael Cohen, claimed that candidate Trump knew in advance about the June 2016 meeting in Trump Tower, in which Russians were expected to offer his campaign dirt on Hillary Clinton. This was attributed to sources with knowledge, quote unquote. Moreover, CNN sources said Cohen is willing to make that assertion to special counsel Robert Mueller, who is investigating Russia's reported interference in the 2016 presidential election. The New York Post later confirmed the CNN report with an anonymous source of its own. The Cohen scoop was a media sensation for as long as these things normally are in the Trump era. But guess what? It may all be bunk. Yes! Cohen testified before Congress last year that he had no idea whether then candidate Donald Trump had foreknowledge of the 2016 Trump Tower meeting with Russians, according to Axios. Cohen's attorney, Lanny Davis, yes, that Lanny Davis. And what they mean, of course, is Lanny Davis was a general counsel to the whole Clinton family. Also said this week that the stories from July were total nonsense. It was painful, he told Axios. Jonathan Swan, after being asked why he and Cohen didn't do more to dispute CNN's reporting. We were not the source. We could not confirm, and we could not correct. We had to be silent because of the sensitivity needed in the middle of a criminal investigation. It's possible that Cohen was lying then and is telling the truth now, or vice versa. Just because you testify one way doesn't mean you're telling the truth. But now have a look at the New York Post follow-up report this week on its original Trump Tower meeting coverage. When the Post called Cohen's lawyer, Lanny Davis, at the time to confirm the report, he said as an anonymous source that it was accurate. But Thursday, Davis, speaking on the record, apologized for confirming something he did not know to be true. I regret that I wasn't clear enough to the Post. I should have been more clear. I could not independently confirm the information in the CNN story, he said. I'm sorry that I left that impression. I wasn't at the meeting. The only person who could confirm that information is my client. In other words, Davis confirmed a story for the Post despite having no idea whether it was true or not. He actively participated in a major narrative he claims now was painful to watch. He didn't follow up with the Post until now, only after newsrooms are reporting the initial July reports may be inaccurate. Boy, if you can't trust a longtime Clinton ally, then who can you trust? Well, exactly. A couple days ago, everybody was freaking out about this, right? This was going to be Trump's really, really bad day. And of course, this is all coming from Lanny Davis, who was already a screwy source, okay? This guy's got Clinton all over him. And it was all good when he was an anonymous source, because when you're an anonymous source, you can say things like, oh, that's accurate. Oh, sorry about the highlighting there. But Thursday, Davis, speaking on the record, apologized for confirming something. So not only was he not able to confirm this, but then he ends up saying that this was painful to watch. It's kind of like watching Democrats just implode right now. Absolutely painful to watch. And of course, most Democrats aren't going to hear about this because NBC won't be reporting this and CNN won't be reporting this. But that's the fact of the matter. And the more that we get into this Cohen soup sandwich, the more we're going to find out what we found out before, is that this is just a witch hunt going after Trump, and they're going after anybody who's had any kind of relation to Trump.
So close!
No, Flapjack, you are not even close. But you know who is? These 19 foreign nationals charged for voting in the 2016 election. Yeah, close to getting some prison and deportation. I'm on the DOJ website. Multiple defendants voted in more than one election. Wilmington, North Carolina, Robert J. Higdon Jr., United States Attorney for the Eastern District of Northern Carolina today, announced that 19 foreign nationals were charged with, among other crimes, voting by alien for their actions prior to and on November 8, 2016. A 20th defendant was charged with aiding and abetting a fellow defendant in falsely claiming United States citizenship in order to register to vote. A federal grand jury in Wilmington, North Carolina returned an indictment charging the following foreign nationals with false claim of United States citizenship in order to register to vote and voting by an alien. And it goes on to list some of these names here: Jose Cruz Solano Rodriguez, Guadalupe Espinosa Peña, Sarah Emilia Silverio, Polanco. Yeah, so clearly Russian, right? Separate criminal charge. Then we got some more Russian names: Torres, Morales, Canizaro. Yeah. There you go, folks. So all these guys got popped, these illegal aliens. And it says also a federal grand jury in Wilmington has returned an indictment charging an 18th defendant, Diana Patricia Franco Rodriguez, another Russian name, age 26, of Mexico. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a Mexican name. It was close. With fraud and misuse of visas, permits, and other documents, and voting by an alien. How about that? So this was a grand jury. Okay. And, you have to form a grand jury. So by the time these usually go to court, usually they're pretty solid because most prosecutors aren't going to bother impaneling a grand jury if they don't think they've got something on these people. So I'm not going to read all their terms and stuff. All of them are looking at different sentences, anywhere from 5 to 25 years. This one's 26 years. Of course, those are maximum penalties, so we don't really know. And they're all sitting at least $100,000 fine. Most of them are more. But let me take you down here. The charges and allegations contained in the indictments and criminal informations are merely accusations. An indictment is a formal written accusation originating with the United States Attorney and issued by a grand jury against a party charged with a crime. Yes, true, they are just allegations and they are just indictments. However, like I said, by the time you've wasted all your time going through a grand jury, generally these tend to hold up pretty well because that's something that the judge will look into, seeing that a grand jury was the one that issued the indictment, meaning that they've already seen evidence. The cases are being investigated under the newly created framework of the Document and Benefit Fraud Task Force. That's the DBFTF in the Eastern District of North Carolina, led by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Homeland Security Investigations, and assisted by Enforcement Removal Operations and the Department of State Diplomatic Security Service. The investigation as to voting fraud is ongoing. So this is just North Carolina, okay? And here is their site here. This is off of Immigration and Customs Enforcement. And we're talking about this group right here. The Identity and Benefit Fraud Unit is charged with investigating and disrupting document and benefit fraud schemes. It coordinates its investigative efforts with other U.S. Department of Homeland Security components such as U.S. Customs and Border Protection and U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, as well as other federal agencies such as the U.S. Department of State and the U.S. Department of Labor. And if I take you over here, this was an announcement from back on August 17th, so not too long ago, yeah? Fraudsters in Eastern North Carolina, beware. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Homeland Security Investigations has identified Raleigh as an expansion site to create a new document and benefit fraud task force. Well, just in time for midterms. We're not going to go way into this because this is just talking about North Carolina, but I would assume that if this is one site here, that we probably have something like this expanding all over the United States. So it looks like illegal aliens, beware, your voter rights are about to get pulled. Not that you ever had them in the first place. We're going to stay over here on the DOJ website. This is from August 24th. Army captain indicted on charges of enticement of a minor to engage in unlawful sexual activity and transferring obscene material to a minor. Baltimore, Maryland. A federal grand jury has indicted Kevin J. Gorbsky, age 32, of Bowie, Maryland, on 5 counts of enticement of a minor to engage in unlawful sexual activity and 1 count of transferring obscene material to a minor. The indictment was returned on August 23, 2018, and unsealed today. The indictment was announced by United States Attorney for the District of Maryland, Robert K. Hoare, Special Agent in Charge Gordon B. Johnson of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Baltimore Field Office, and Commanding General David P. Glaser of the U.S. Army Criminal Investigative Command. According to the 6-count indictment, Gorbsky was a captain in the United States Army stationed in Kuwait and in Anne and Arundel County, Maryland, where he was assigned to work at a secure facility. Gorbsky created and used email accounts Justin Smelder and John BB's and as social media account John BB66 beginning in October 2015 and continuing through at least January 8, 2018. Gorbsky used those accounts to engage in online chat with hundreds of other users, many of whom identified themselves as minors between 12 and 17 years old. Gorbsky told many of the individuals he chatted with that he was 19 years old when in fact he was between 28 and 31 years old. Gorbsky's chats with the users were sexually explicit. Gorbsky repeatedly persuaded, enticed, and coerced the other users to send him sexually explicit images and to engage in sexually explicit video chat with him. Gorbsky sent many of the users sexually explicit images and videos of himself. On numerous occasions, Gorbsky accessed his accounts and engaged in sexually explicit chats using the unclassified computer system at his workplace. Nice job, dumbass. So, here we got another one. And it says here, if convicted, Gorbsky faces a mandatory minimum of 10 years and up to life in prison for each count of enticement. And he had 5 counts of enticement of a minor to engage in unlawful sexual activity and a maximum of 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine for transfer of obscene material to a minor. Gorbsky is scheduled to have an initial appearance before U.S. Magistrate Judge J. Mark Colson on August 27, 2018 at 3 p.m. All right, so like it says here again, an indictment is not finding him a guilt, but once again, we've got grand juries getting impaneled for all this stuff. And this is off the DOJ website. It says this case was brought as part of Project Safe Childhood, a nationwide initiative launched in May 2006 by the Department of Justice to combat the growing epidemic of child exploitation and abuse, led by the United States Attorney's Office in the Criminal Division Child Exploitation and Obscenity Section. Okay, and then it goes on to talk about it a little bit, and it takes you to this link right here. Project Safe Childhood. Now remember, this was a post that Q posted this actually some weeks ago regarding the same program. And I have to say, I wasn't really sure what I thought about it, considering that one of their sources was Amber Alert, and considering that Laura Gaylor, formerly Laura Silsby, had worked with Amber Alert. Now, I don't believe she does anymore, but it looks like maybe they're trying to clean this part out as well, too. But this Project Safe Childhood, you can go over here on this website and you can kind of see what's been going on. They keep you up to date generally within the week, and as you can see, we've already got a few stories here of more and more pedos getting taken off the street. So very, very good news. And I think the big point here that I would like to point out is that these have all had grand juries formed. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that these are all the same ones in regards to Hubert, Horowitz, and Sessions. However, it does seem like they're all getting unsealed recently, and we're arresting more and more pedos every single day. The numbers are absolutely astounding at this point. All right, we're over here on Breitbart. Democratic Representative Green. Trump doesn't need to commit a crime to be impeached. 218 House members decide. I guess you got tired of being alone. Thursday on Democracy Now!, Representative Al Green out of Texas said President Donald Trump could be impeached without having committed a crime. Green said, "This is a very sad time in the history of our country. This is not something that I enjoy talking about, even though you love talking about it. Nor is it something that I would like to do, even though you would totally love to do it. But I think it's becoming increasingly clear that the president will have 2 options. 1, he can resign from office, or 2, he can face impeachment. Impeachment is something that the framers of a constitution provided for a time such as this and a president such as Trump. The president does not have to commit a crime to be impeached. In fact, the president is not likely to be indicted, which means he's not likely to be found guilty of a crime while he's sitting. Which means that if this comes before the House, it won't come before the House as a president who has been found guilty, but rather as a president who is alleged to have committed certain offenses that are onerous to the Constitution and that harm society. And what this president is doing is harming society. All right, well, I'm not really sure what Representative Green's so butthurt about. He's been butthurt ever since President Trump got into office. All right, I'm not exactly sure how to mend your broken heart, but he's all butthurt over Trump. And he says here, he added, it's my opinion that you cannot allow an unfit president to continue to cause harm to society. What's harming society so much? Those tax breaks? Let's just take a few examples quickly. When those persons in Charlottesville were saying blood and soil, Jews will not replace us, many of them worked in places that probably served Jews and minority persons. One can only imagine what would happen to the food of a person who is of African ancestry, who is being served by one of those bigots, one of those racists. Let's take the example of what happened at the border with those babies that were being separated from their mothers by virtue of a policy instituted by this president. That was a form of bigotry that is intolerable. We don't have to allow the president to continue to harm our society. The framers of the Constitution contemplated that there would be a president who would do such things even more horrible than this, but also things as horrible as this, such that the president could be removed from office. And the framers concluded that no person should be above the law and that the president should not be beyond justice. It is justice that we seek for the people of this country, and the president should be impeached. He doesn't have to commit a crime, only has to have his case brought before the House of Representatives, and 218 people decide that he has committed an impeachable act. All right, so Al Green, who really wants to urge all his voters to stay together and impeach Trump, doesn't need a crime, but is looking for justice. So let me say that again. He wants to impeach Trump on crimes that he didn't commit because he's seeking justice. Sounds like good logic coming from Representative Green, who's always pretty much had a little bit of a sore spot for President Trump over here. What's up, bro? You mad? And hey, kids, I've got a gig for you. We're on the San Francisco Chronicle. Street housekeeping keeps San Francisco Mayor Breed and everyone else hopping. Mayor London Breed, who won her election largely on a promise to clean up the city, is stepping up efforts to scrub San Francisco's streets, including playing a bit of cat and mouse with her own city department heads. Breed has taken to making unannounced walks through hard-hit neighborhoods, at times with reporters in tow, but without giving the police or public works officials the usual heads up that in the past allowed for the cleanups that usually precede a mayoral visit. I don't want the areas to be clean if it's not clean on a regular basis. I want to see what everybody else is seeing, Breed tells us. And when Breed spots a problem, she texts the department head. The sight of human waste, discarded hypodermic needles, trash, and general grime is nothing new to anyone walking in downtown, in the Mission District, or in any of a number of other San Francisco neighborhoods these days. And as Breed notes, we're spending a lot of money to address this problem. No kidding. San Francisco Public Works has a $72.5 million a year street cleaning budget, including spending $12 million a year on what essentially has become housekeeping services for homeless encampments. The cost includes $2.8 million for a hotspots crew to wash down the camps and remove any biohazards, $2.3 million for street steam cleaners, $3.1 million for the pit stop portable toilets, plus the new $830,000, $977 a year poop patrol to actively hunt down and clean up human waste. By the way, the poop patrollers earn $71,000 a year, which swells to $184,000 a year with mandated benefits. At the same time, the Department of Public Health has an additional $700,000 a year set aside for a 10-member needle cleanup squad, complete with its own minivan. The $19 an hour needle cleanup jobs were approved as part of the latest budget, crafted largely by former Mayor Mark Farrell. The new needle crew is on top of the $364,000 that the health department already was spending on a 4-member needle team. Breed is also leaning on Chief William Scott for more foot patrols. All right, so you can see what's going on. Yay, socialism. So we got this mayor who seems to be a rare breed, cleaning up the streets of San Francisco. And hey kids, Applebee's not hiring? No problem. Poop Patrol has got you covered. Yeah, you can make a grip of cash. $184,000 a year with mandated benefits. How about that? And if you're really elite, you can join the Needle Cleanup Crew. I don't know if they have a fancy name or not, but you get a minivan, and that's pretty sweet. There's only 10 members though, so better get your CVs in now. So once again, San Francisco showing the world that it is a virtual utopia for socialism. And although they've got poo everywhere, it's poo from all over the world, so it's inclusive poo. NBC would be proud. Finally, I want to leave you with this right here. This is a Google spreadsheet entitled Notable Human Trafficking Arrests. And it started back in January of 2017. You can see here's the date of the announcement and the arrest end date, photo, name, number arrested, number rescued, country, state, arresting agencies involved. Then you have the comment section here, and these are all the links if you want to check out some of these stories. But it takes you all the way up to what looks to be August 22nd. So it's pretty well updated, but as you can see, look at all these different arrests here. So there's lots to look at. I will leave this down below for you here. Good things are happening. Look at all those names right here. Yeah, it looks like August 22nd. The last arrest that was marked in here was from August 21st. So you can go through and you can take a look at any of these if you have any stories of note, or if you want to add any or anything like this. This is not mine. This was created by some Anons, so I haven't done any editing here, but I will leave it for you down below. All right, kids, that's all I got for you. As always, if you like this video, please click like, share, and subscribe. You can catch me on Twitter at IPOT1776. That's at IPOT1776. I'm on Gab. I'm on BitChute. I'm on Real.Video. And my Patreon link is also down below if you want to support the channel. All those links, including my email, are down below in the video description. And that's all I got for you. So until next time, stay optimistic. There's a lot of good things happening. Don't worry about the queue taking a break. For those of you who are new, this is a normal thing. It happens, and oftentimes we see lots and lots of arrests while Q is taking a break. So enjoy it. Until then, I have a feeling more Q will be coming soon. Enjoy the ride. My name is Sir Patrick Mack, and until next time, stay up.